taking so
this
long.
together.
I was like,
Yeah.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Board of Trustees of the Village of Fredonia Workshop, 911 Church Street in Fredonia, New York, for this December 3rd, 2025 workshop at 9 a.m. I'm Fredonia Mayor Michael Ferguson. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'm just going to call roll. Trustee Esperson.
Here.
Trustee Broccoli.
Here.
Trustee Syracuse.
Here.
Trustee Wendell.
Here.
Trustee Twitchell.
Here.
Thank you. Before we start, I want to introduce a new player to the team. Michaela Yeklin is now the official village clerk for the Village of Fredonia. We welcome you, and don't worry about the mess down there. We'll take care of it. So stepping into big shoes, and she's anxious to get ready. So she's already had 1 or 2 days in, right? 2 days, good. So we welcome you for this. Resolutions, let's start there. Abstracts 787 through 790. Any discussion?
I would like to just ask the treasurer what, I reviewed the expenses in the abstract. The power National Grid bills, are they they're rather significant, right? For each, the water treatment plant, the wastewater plant. Have they been increasing over, say, the past year or two?
So wastewater, I know, has decreased. At least the usage has decreased, but the
Okay.
price overall for National Grid has increased
Okay.
across the board, so,
Per kilowatt hour? The rate?
correct.
Okay. And how about the water treatment plant?
I haven't studied the usage so much there. I do have it all separated on a
Okay.
spreadsheet, so we can look at that, but
Okay,
I haven't
thank you.
looked so much.
Any other discussion? If not, number 2, screw pump repairs from Molly.
With the screw pump repairs, like this is for installation of and the fabrication of the bottom bearing. And once there's some concrete repairs that are gonna need to be done, but until the screw is in line, over the years it like sagged down because it was wearing out. With the bearing back in the line, we can't know what it's gonna take to repair the concrete until after that is all set with that. So it would be like a 2-step process. This process, then the repair of the concrete after that. Just, I wanna make sure everyone's aware of what's going on with that.
Thank you, David.
And Dave and I have been discussing this and trying to get the cost of what the concrete, what that might be is not possible right now because they don't exactly know the scope of the work. So until they actually get in there and see what they're gonna need to do, we're not gonna know that cost. So he didn't want to give us an estimate, and the service guy didn't want to give us an estimate because he doesn't want to say it's going to be 20,000 and ends up being 50,000. So he's going to wait until he actually sees the scope of work.
Don't we have to bid that out?
I don't think so because we're going through Moley anyway. They were the only one.
I'm saying they do the actual work then, correct?
Yeah. Moley's doing the work.
Okay.
When do they expect to start?
Once it gets approved, there's the manufacturing of the bottom bearing is 3 to 4 weeks, and then I would assume they would start right away getting the parts once we give them official go ahead on that.
So we're looking at probably January
It
earliest.
would probably in January before the parts, and then they can come and install it, and then we can go from there. So
Thus far, you've been able to work okay on 1 and 2?
Yeah, at all times, we need to make sure we have 2 screw pumps in operation, and 1 and 2 are both working good, and we've kept up on the maintenance and things, so. Number 1 is a very old pump, but it's, we're using 2 whenever we can, and limiting our usage on pump number 1.
Okay.
But we only need to run 2 pumps when there's high flows, like a rain event or major flooding. Usually 1 pump is sufficient.
Thanks.
Any other questions? If not, we move number 3, fire union contract approval. Any updates?
I will be recusing myself from any conversation for this resolution.
There's going to be an additional portion of that too. Or Alyssa, would you print out
Yes.
what Melanie had sent us and make sure everybody has a copy of that? It's for a family leave for childbirth.
Is that, that's the state program?
It's paternity
No.
leave.
Yeah, it's
issue.
paternity leave. Because the state has a program anyway that we would fall under their rules.
I just want us all
Yeah.
to be aware that we're looking at, the contract's going to increase the payroll by about 65,000 this year, and that goes up each year to, by the end of the contract, it's about 75,000 additional dollars a year. We're probably baking in a 3% tax increase with our employee salary increases. I just want everybody to be aware of that before we go ahead and vote.
And that is no different than the police contract that we approved.
This is true.
And it was dictated, it was, I'm going to say mandated by the mediator. And if it went to arbitration, the arbitrator would demand that we spend the same amount of money on their benefits as we did police. So it was going to be foisted on us either way. So it wasn't anything we could have avoided. And those increases were already part of, Alyssa figured those in this year's budget anyway, those increases.
This year's increase.
Yeah, for this year's increase is already in the budget.
But I mean, I think Ben's statement is important that the public realize that you have 4 contracts that we work with through our different departments. And if each one is at 3% with regards to tax increase, you know, you're already looking at a 12% tax increase before anything else hits.
Yep.
So it's very important that these are contractual obligations. Some of them are required, some of them are for the individual unions that are in there. So it's not like it's being given willy-nilly.
And it's just,
Part of contract negotiation.
other things are not getting less expensive either.
No,
Just
no.
so everybody's aware where we're headed.
Cost of doing business. Yeah.
It is.
How about the paramedic training?
That's a conversation for a different day once both this board and the union approves the contract.
So that,
Probably after the first of the year, we'll
Okay.
dive into that.
so you're saying the approval has to come prior to that
It
discussion?
should come prior.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other discussion on fire union contract approval? Okay, if not, let's go to department reports.
Just
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
there's a walk-on resolution.
I'm sorry.
As well.
I was wondering if we could possibly approve this today. It's for the EFC grant, and they're waiting for some paperwork for us.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I know we don't normally do it, but it's stuff we've already approved. They just needed specific wording. All of it has
Okay.
been approved
I
before.
thought this had come before us in slightly different
Yeah,
form.
they just needed different, like, saying who exactly is signing paperwork and that kind of thing.
All right.
So do you want to read that, trustee?
Well, is there any discussion about it before any questions?
I think it's a good thing.
We've already discussed it and approved that it's a change of
Okay.
who's signing.
Whereas the Village of Fredonia was awarded a grant through New York State Environmental Facilities Corporation for engineering study at the wastewater treatment plant. Whereas the village has budgeted in the 25-26 budget for the 20% match equaling $10,000 from the sewer fund, whereas the chief wastewater operator, David Felt, will be the designated authorized representative. The mayor, Michael Ferguson, has executed the grant agreement and will be responsible for executing any other contracts that are necessary for the grant. The treasurer, Alyssa LeBeau, will be responsible for preparing all disbursements for the grant. Therefore, be it resolved, the board hereby approves the New York State EFC Engineering Planning Grant. Local match portion of the grant will be funded by the sewer fund, and the authorized designees are approved as written.
I second.
Trustee Rockler?
Aye.
Trustee Syracuse?
Aye.
Trustee Wendell?
Aye.
Trustee Twitchell?
Aye.
Trustee Esperson?
Aye.
So approved. Code enforcement.
Zoning and planning, we have no meetings until after the first of the year. And they had one application for the zoning board in January, but they haven't submitted yet, they just talked to me. We have some movement on Skyandro in the St. George subdivision. Some new houses are gonna go in there. I know one house right now, they're talking about some townhouses as well. So that's a good thing. And as you know, Sonic is open. I was very pleased with the planning board and the way they handled the stacking there. We had no problems with cars going on the Bennett Road during the opening. Not like the other restaurants that opened up there, they were shutting down one of the lanes for the weekend, you know, because they were stacking out under the road.
Community does love a new restaurant.
So they've been really busy too. I haven't gotten in there yet. So they're stacked constantly.
Yeah.
So I think they're doing a good job. Other than that, I think
Caps off a busy year for you guys. Said caps off a busy year for you guys.
yeah, it was one of our busiest years yet since I've been here. Usually we may get one house a year, but we had several houses this year. The new house, Chestnut's got the foundation in. They want to get the framing going on that. So we're monitoring that. The basement wall's a 100-foot long wall. And technically, they can't even start backfilling until they get a first floor on or cap on. And this concrete's not here yet, but they're kind of rushing it too much. So we're kind of keeping an eye on that, monitoring that. Other than that, that's about it.
DPW was excused today. They got their hands full this morning. Fire department.
No report.
Police department.
The last meeting, you saw that we had another resignation, another officer went to the sheriff's office. That leaves me 3 down, and I have 1 on maternity leave right now. So there's no current civil service list. There was a test given in September. The list is due back anytime now. I urge the board to move as soon as I get that list back. We'll have to come up with a plan. I don't even know. I can't even recommend what we can do at this time. But 4 people down in a department my size is significant. That's why you see the increase in overtime. But the guys are getting tired of the overtime. So
Do we know when the list will be out?
I was hoping it was going to be here last week, but I called civil service and they said it's not out or certified yet. Once they get it back, they have to certify it, so I'm anticipating the first of the month, January now.
Just 1 second. Do you remember when we were at NICOM, we went to the new civil service director, and wasn't that one of his goals was to make it easier for municipalities to hire police and fire, and they were gonna
No, those,
streamline the process?
no, police and fire were the only ones that they had no interest in doing anything for civil service because everybody, you know, as is typical of Albany and whatever, they pay attention more to what's happening downstate, and there's still, you know, a line out the door for everybody who wants to be NYPD, NYFD, so they see no issues in the state or they claim that that there is no issue in hiring police and fire within the state. The entire room, because we were all very, this side of the state, the entire room very quickly erupted and told him
Yeah.
how wrong he was, and he just said, no, I'm correct. We have no interest in changing anything.
I do know that
So-
they're, outside of those, they're looking at simplifying the test and also some of the restrictions that were placed on the test statewide, but not for police and fire.
Correct.
Yeah, it was outside that.
I think their major aim at opening things up were mostly nursing positions and medical positions, from what I gathered.
I just remember a loud, lengthy conversation with some of the other municipalities after he got done speaking, and I thought that he said he'd
No.
take a look at that.
No.
Well, he was just new, he had just been hired.
Yeah.
Right?
I share with you, I don't want to speak for other municipalities, but we need 3 people right now. And I don't want the community to think that I'm asking for 3 additional people. That's historical staffing in the time I've been here, that level, to get back to the 3 we need. But every municipality, every police or sheriff's department is waiting for that list to come back right now. So I share you, it's very competitive right now. I wish there were more people interested in the job right now, but there's a staffing shortage. So that's why we're struggling where we're at now. We used to have 10 people waiting for every job that we posted. So it's the complete opposite now. I just want to make the board aware that I have spoken with Verlissa. Our oldest car, we have four patrol cars. Our oldest car has over 125,000, 130,000 miles on it now. And I'm spending a lot of money to keep it running. And I don't know how much longer I can manage that. I don't know if it's going to make it till we need another 8-9 months out of it to replace it. I don't think it's going to make it. I'm making you aware of that. There is money. The reason I spoke with Willis is I had some capital money left. It would roughly cover half of what I need for a new car, and it's built out. I don't know where it's going to end up, but I'm just making the board aware for what may be coming. I'd love to say it's going to last 8 months, but knowing what I know about these cars, I don't think it will. Other than that, I have nothing.
You here all day, Chief?
Excuse me?
Are you here all day?
I am, yes.
Okay, is it, come down and see you later?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Thank you. Anything from the Recreation Department, Michelle?
They're continuing gathering cards to Santa, and the children can drop those off at the post office. There's a red mailbox there that the children can write to Santa and have those letters dropped off.
We have one right on the stairs, too.
And we have one out front,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. So I know that the Zells have been picking the ones up out here, so.
Right.
I'm sure you'll be getting returns soon. Thank you. Wastewater treatment plant.
I have nothing else to report.
Thank you, sir. Water treatment plant.
There's a break in construction right now. They're waiting on tanks to get delivered so they can continue, but other than that, everything's been moving pretty good.
Okay.
They get a estimated completion date?
They have 90 days from the day that it was signed to complete.
Okay.
So right now, I think we're looking at early Feb, late Jan,
Possibly.
maybe depending on the weather.
I don't think, they're done with the outside,
Oh,
everything's
are they?
inside
Okay.
now. So they're just waiting on an eye wash tank and then chlorine tank.
Okay.
Super. All right, if there's nothing else in department reports, we'll go to new business. First one is mine. I am sending out by the end of this week my tentative schedule of meetings for 2026 and workshop meetings. Obviously, that's going to have to change. I have a meeting scheduled with the 2 incoming trustees, just to find work schedules and things that we have to work around that. So we've been talking, but I'll have something to you. Today is Wednesday, probably by no later than Friday, so you can take a look at it over the weekend. Hopefully we can get that approved prior to the end of the month.
Well, I was speaking with Alyssa about how early we had to have that published, and I guess the official language is as early as possible. So
Yeah.
there's no drop dead date where we need to publish it. But,
Right.
yeah. But I agree, we need to figure out how we're
Yep.
going to do that.
So we'll have that. Next is cable grant purchases.
Yes, I met with the cable board company, or advisory committee, and they came up with some information about some new purchases that they'd like to make. And I spoke to Alyssa, and we do have $3,800 left in that Spectrum grant that we have. And this totals $1,519.15. And I'll pass around the packet of what is going to be purchased. And I'd like to have that put on as a resolution for our next meeting.
Any discussion? Thank you. I do have a couple of things that I want to speak on. Yesterday, I had the chance to, as part of we returned to the monthly mayors and supervisors meeting with County Executive Wendell. Great meeting. Mark Geis was part of it as well. And we'll give you a little bit, I'll give you the letter of invitation here so you know what's going on, because it's a grant opportunity for us. And you're hearing a lot about grants and things that are going on in this community. So I know some of the talk on the street is we don't apply for grants. We are constantly applying for grants. So the Chautauqua County Department of Planning and Development will be discussing my government efficiency initiative. This is from the county executive, and answering questions from local leaders. Your participation is strongly encouraged. As you're aware, municipalities are facing significant fiscal constraints, and many are seeking new ways to reduce costs and deliver essential services more effectively. I fully understand the challenges you are navigating, and this initiative reflects his commitment to ensuring local governments have the tools and resources necessary to serve residents. In October 2025, he proposed an amendment to the Chautauqua County Government Reduction Initiative, originally passed in May 2017. The original resolution allowed the county to provide up to $50,000 to a town or more, two or more towns consolidating, or if a village dissolved into a town which it resides. The amendment was approved by the Chautauqua County Legislature and expands the program, allowing the county to provide up to $100,000 a year to any local government entity or school district considering planning or implementing a dissolution, consolidation, or merger, consolidation of public services or facilities, and intermunicipal consolidations aimed at improving service. Many of you know that that has been on my agenda. We've been in talks with the town of Pomfret. We were one talk with several fire departments about a fire district, which has not come to fruition. And we've talked about things like some of the services that we provide to the public, sharing them with communities surrounding us. During his first 2025 State of the Union or State of the County address, he expanded the initiative for proposals up to $500,000 of the county's general fund balance in 26 to assist municipalities, special districts, school districts with upfront costs associated with consolidations, mergers, dissolutions, or implementation of enhanced shared services, by removing the financial barriers that we need to be able to do the studies that are required. So I thank him for that. I've got a copy of the full meeting that we can review, and those applications are already on the county website. We also got an invitation to speak on a new grant that's coming before us on an open space conservation grant program. The purpose of the grant is to support land conservation and protect water quality, provide habitat connectivity, mitigate climate change, provide equitable access to open space and recreational opportunities. And we will be talking about that later today to schedule a a time for that. Urlissa and I also have a meeting today with the National Fitness Group to talk about a couple of projects that may take place in the village of placing free public exercise equipment in parks that can be used by the public. And there are grants out there for that. So we'll give you more information when more information is available. The only other thing I have is I reached out to the board and asked for feedback on a social media policy for all village employees and officials. This does not have to be part of a contractual obligation. It becomes policy once a person becomes either an employee of the community or an elected official of the community. Personally, I think that social media has gotten out of control. It's become slanderous, not just here, and it's a critical part of our current life, and it's unfortunate that it goes the way it does. But I think there are certain obligations to working for the village and collecting paychecks for the village, whether you are a employee or whether you are an elected official, that you should have to adhere to. I have presented to our attorneys a social media and public-facing policy for the village for their review and approval, and make sure it fits all the rules of the state and of course the U.S. rules regarding to social media policy. I've sent everybody a copy, and I'm not going to go through it right now because it's quite lengthy, but I ask once again if you would mind taking a look at that so that we can vote on that and approve it. Don't know if we're going to be able to get it on the agenda for Monday, but shortly. We may have to work it out. So far, our attorneys have looked at it and said that it's fine, but I want to make sure that that our board agrees with it as well before we move forward.
Mayor, I did want to bring up this proposal for Eagle Radio Technologies. I believe it's for DPW. Is this something that we are to approve, to
So
review?
I'm waiting on the updated quote to make sure that it's correct. I just wanted to have it on your radar if I
Okay.
can get the updated quote before Monday. Apparently they're having issues because there's no antenna there right
Right,
now,
right.
communicating through the radio, so.
I know, I really feel that that's important, and if we can get this approved as soon as we could to remedy that situation, that would be great.
Was that caused by the roof collapse? So was that covered by insurance?
It should have been,
Should have been, but wasn't?
correct,
Why wasn't it?
because it was never submitted. The proposal was received way after it was closed out.
So the insurance company paid for the roof repair, but not anything that was on the roof?
It wasn't submitted to the insurance company because no one reached out for a quote until well after the insurance had closed out the case.
Claim.
No one from the insurance company reached out?
Nobody from
No,
the
no one from
department,
DPW.
from DPW,
Okay,
Does that mean it's closed? We can't act on it further?
Correct.
right.
all right.
Okay. One other thing I had is Governor Hochul announced the launch of a $300 million Power Up program yesterday to create power-ready, shovel-ready sites. And Chuck, I'd like to sit down with you and see if there's, possibly the zoning board, see if there's anything that we may be able to utilize that for. Okay? I think that New York State has proven itself with regards to industrial sites and shovel-ready sites. They don't have to be monstrous, but they have to be fully ready, not just with water and sewer and electricity, but also with high-speed interconnectivity, which we've got a great company in the community with DFT that can help us in that area. So that's all I have under new business. Anybody else have anything else?
I wanted to discuss, so we're responsible for our lights, our street lights now. And I know that we have a bunch out on Main Street, and the DPW did get quotes from Beck to get them fixed, and we are gonna proceed with getting them fixed. But I was thinking that we should probably send it out to bid and maybe get an idea of getting a company that just we have kind of on hand to fix them and get a rate so that we don't have to have emergency calls to them to pay a rate like that.
think
So I
that's a
wanted
good
to
idea.
send something like that out.
Yeah, let's do that.
Have you been able to find anybody to?
Well, I haven't looked yet, I just
Okay.
saw the proposal
Great.
for the last
I like
fix,
that
and I was
idea.
like,
I know that Siemens had reached out to us and wanted to schedule a meeting,
yeah, we need to do that, because I
Yeah.
don't think,
because I think we need to take a look at that contract that was signed 6, 7 years ago, because I don't think it was village friendly. And I think we need to, kind of hold their feet to the fire for some of the things that weren't included or haven't been fulfilled.
follow through.
So, yeah.
I've had to replace 3 lights in my office. Or the police department, I should say. Yeah. And it's nothing any maintenance guy can do. We have to call an electrician.
We also had a letter that came down, what was it, a month ago? From National Grid basically telling us the things that used to be under our contract are no longer under contract and we're on our own. So I think that's a serious cost, and especially as Chief is mentioning, in a building like this, that adds up, which is a whole nother discussion for 2026. What do you do with Village Hall? So, but we'll save that for another day. Is there anything else on the docket?
I do have some information I'd like to pass on to the trustees about Glasgow Park. I was able to gather information about Glasgow Park at the Darwin R. Barker Historical Museum. Here's a timeline of events at the park. 1939, the park opened as Fredonia Park following work done by National Youth Administration, a federal program established during the Depression. 1965, Glasgow Park received upgrades including electricity, a water well, toilets, a picnic shelter, tables and grills. 1983, the park hosted outdoor activities for the Resource Center. 1989, the park was listed in the Fredonia Handbook. The point is that Glasgow Park should be correctly recognized in the effort by this board to sell it. Listing it simply as village property for sale risks fraud. Potential buyers need to know the history of the property and the restrictions imposed by New York State on its sale. I am opposed to the sale of Glasgow Park because of its value to village taxpayers. The property could be enrolled in a carbon sequestration program, which would provide income to the village for decades. The property was purchased with the consideration of its water resources, which were utilized as recently as 30 years ago. Now we are being told that a change in the law will not allow the village to use the water that we own. Yet, we have received no citation of the law nor mechanisms of appeal in extenuating circumstances. And who is to say that current regulations will not change? The attempt to sell Glasgow Park is another example of this board's short-sighted view of village resources, like the 60% discounted sewer contract with the county, which will cost the village taxpayers $4 million over the next 30 years, and the mistitled water improvement project proposal, which will likewise force village taxpayers to bear tens of millions of dollars of debt while making us all pay for the water lost at privately owned properties and for water used for municipal functions, which we currently enjoy at marginal cost. And that's my statement.
Thank you. I do want to make, and this is not a criticism, it is a statement of fact. The DEC in New York State, we have mentioned it several times, have said that we can never draw water from that area again because they draw from the Mississippi where we do not, and there is cross-contamination issues that have been discovered by the state of New York, which will never allow us to do that again. And it has been stated, and this village has received communication to that effect.
I'd like to see that information.
That would be fine.
We got last time we used it, we got a one-time use permit from DEC with the understanding that the village would provide them guidelines, what the village would do next time there's a drought. We got the water, the village never provided a plan for the next drought. And that's what DEC had demanded that we do, and it never happened.
I believe the connections that are not working right now would have satisfied our water needs
Okay.
on Route 20. And also, we do have a connection on Vineyard Drive. And I know between those three areas, we would have plenty of water during a drought.
And I was just talking about Castega.
I would like to go in executive session.
Well, let's
Go
go
ahead.
old business.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yep.
Go ahead.
So I called Attorney King about the PFA to try to get an update from him. And there was a sample provided, the lab tested it, and it came back at 1.3 parts per trillion. 4 parts per trillion is the cutoff for having to be required to treat it. So the good news is that you're not over the limit, and that 1.3 parts per trillion, between 1.3 and 1.5 is about what they're seeing in this part of the state. So I asked him what the next steps were, and he said that their law firm is providing or working on the paperwork to include us in the class action suit, and that's where we are at this date. I talked to him yesterday, so
Thank
it's
you.
continuing. It's going to take some time.
I was just going to ask about that, so thank you.
I thought we gave him prior approval for that.
I believe we did.
We did.
We did.
Yeah,
That's
we
why
don't
he's
need more
doing it.
approval. It's just I wanted to catch the board up to
Update.
where we
Okay.
were,
Thank you.
or where they are.
Anything else in old business at this point? If not, I'm asking for executive session to discuss an employee issues.
Where?
What department?
Multiple, but we'll say DPW.
Okay.
Okay.
I make a motion that we enter into executive session for employment matters within DPW.
Second?
Trustee Esperson.
Aye.
Trustee Brockler.
Aye.
Trustee Syracuse.
Aye.
Trustee Wendell.
Aye.
Trustee Twitchell.
Aye.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. We hope that you had a safe and enjoyable Thanksgiving, and we look forward to seeing you Monday in these very chambers at 6 p.m. for our next Village Trustees meeting. Thank you.